Thanks for joining me to watch the Star Wrap Bracelet. Keep in mind with the Star Wrap Bracelet, the materials are listed in the beginning of the video, but you can use a variety of different things to make this fun wrap bracelet. If you want to see more options and more things of the Star Wrap, comment below in the video as you gather materials and are brainstorming what you're going to use. This helps out other people in the community to let them know what are different options that can be used for this same pattern. Gather up your materials and join me and tons of others in making the Star Wrap Bracelet. So the Star Wrap Bracelet is about as simple as you can get. I have 2 needles, size 10, on my 4 feet of beading thread. Depending on how many wraps you want to do around your wrist, that's going to determine how much thread you actually need on the needle. Because we are using 2 needles, we're going to have an opportunity right at the start to actually add our clasp for this wrap. I am using the button, and I'm using a table cut button in that purple lilac or lavender color, that lilac color. And I'm going to put on my needle one of my 11s, my melons, and my 11. And the melon I'm using is the aqua transparent luster color. And I'm going to put that and let that kind of drop down to the middle of the thread by taking both of your needles, which again are attached to one side of either piece of your thread, and we are going through so that the cut side, or that little flower looking side, is facing down, and I'm coming out with both needles equal on the back side of the button. That's going to put that little round bead kind of sitting right on the top there and have my button look like it has the bead that's going to add to the look. Coming out the back of the actual button then, I'm going to get ready to separate the needles basically from 2 strands and keep whatever's on the right to the right and whatever's on the left to the left. Prior to doing that, I want to get established and get set up by adding in 3 11-0 seed beads on both your right and your left needle. And now remember, we want to make sure that we have equal amounts of thread on both sides of the actual needle. From here, I'm going to take 1 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to put that seed bead so that it's going through both needles through the same direction. So I'm going to pull both needles then, right and left, equal on either side. That creates a little triangle behind the button, which is going to give us an opportunity for our loop to sit and connect to the button on the other side. Coming out here then, I want you to repeat the count of 3. Adding 3 11s on the right and 3 11s on the left. And I know we've done these wraps before you with different beads, but sometimes it's inspiring, and sometimes selfishly I just want to make my own bracelet, so I figure I might as well record while I'm doing my own bracelet as well. On both the right and the left needle then, we're going to put one of our 4mm melon beads. You can use any sort of bead for this. You can use 4s up to 8mm even, and they'll still fit inside of those star beads. We're then going to take our star bead, and when you look at the stars, they are 11mm, and they have 2 holes, one going up through one side and one going through the other side. Taking a needle then, we're going to put 1 needle through the right and 1 needle through the left, and let those drop down next to my actual clasp. You can see how much that is going to kind of just sit in there really, really nicely. And one thing I forgot to do, and I'm going to quick do, is after your melon bead, go ahead and put 2 11-0 seed beads on before that star. So I'm going to take my star back off and keep this clip going just to show you that it's not always perfect. And I have my needles that I'm going to pull back out. The nice thing is the stars have a pretty big hole, and I'm not going to struggle getting that star bead out. So go ahead and take 2 11s and put them on either needle, and then repeat going on and putting the star bead. You can change up the color of the star bead. Like I said, there's also different size of the round beads that you can use. You could use bicones as well. And you're going to let that drop down now next to those melon beads. Coming out then the end here, we're going to basically just be super repetitive and repeat the process. If you want to, you can work with 1 needle at a time. We are going to add 2 11s, then our 4mm, then 2 11s, and then a star. If you want to, you can add 1 11 instead of 2 those stars just sit rather closely, or you could use a 15 on either side. Like I said, I just want to keep it nice and simple and have something that I can wear as a wrap. So the idea of a wrap when you're doing a bracelet like this is that you will be able to make it a little bit longer, and instead of going around the wrist one time, you can actually put it around the wrist multiple times. In this case here, I'm making it so that it's going to wrap around my wrist 2 times. And you can see I'm just repeating the 2 seed beads, then my 4, then my 2 seed beads, and then on with the next star. I'm going to do a couple inches there with my right needle, and then I'm going to flip over and use my left. I'm not as dominant with the left hand, so instead what I'm going to do is actually kind of flip my project, changing what I already did to be the left needle, and now I'm holding the right needle in place. So again, just picking up 2 11s, and then my round 2 11s, and then going through the second hole of the star that's already there. You can see then those beads kind of sit right nice and in the middle there. You could change it out for something else if you want to bring it in towards one another. You could bring it in and do a super duo, or you could even do a round trio, giving just a little bit more space on the outsides for those beads to sit. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this here, adding in the beads along the sides and then catching on to the second hole of the star. When I need to then, I'll add another star and just keep going along the project, making it longer. Because I am doing this as a double wrap, I'm going to make it about 14 inches for myself. You may want to make it about 15 inches. The cool thing about a 15-inch is that for some of you, it can also be a choker. So you could wear it as a choker or the double wrapped bracelet. So just continue on adding in your beads in whatever colors you want. And then I'll show you how we're going to make the loop and then just kind of reinforce the whole wrap on itself. Once you're actually done with the project, what you're going to do once you have that length is we're going to repeat the start. So remember, we came out of the actual melon bead here, and with the melon bead, we came out of the melon and basically did 3 seed beads, 1 joining, and then we did 3 more to get to our button. What we're going to do here is I'm coming out of the last of my melons, and I have 2 beads on just like I would get ready to add another star. Instead of that, I'm going to add 1 more seed bead on each needle and let that fall back down next to my design. And then again, pick up 1 more 11-0 and share it, meaning take both needles through in the same direction of that 1 11-0. From here, I'm going to take one of my needles and threads and put on about 28 11-0 seed beads. So I'm going to put these all on to my needle to create my loop. You can choose then whether or not you want to do this, but what you can do is reinforce the whole sides, basically retrace the whole thread ends then back down, and from basically snaking from one side all the way then back up to the other side. That's going to reinforce the sides of this double wrap, especially because it's going to be hitting itself as it wraps around your wrist. Like I said, if you are doing a standard, it's going to be about 14.5 to 15 inches, which then also is going to be choker size as well. So if you do like the look of chokers, you can do that also. You can also make this bracelet that it's just 1 wrap, and you can make it with pretty much any multi-hold bead, which is awesome because there's so many to choose from and so much variety. Once you have enough seed beads on your needle and thread, you're going to go back down through the original 11 and pull the extra thread so you don't see any more coming out here. From here, like I said, if you want to, you can go ahead and restring down the sides of the stars with your needle and thread, go back through the button to reinforce one more time so that way you have more than 1 thread, and then you're going to come back up and get ready with the other thread to tie off the knot. So I'm not going to make you watch me do the whole thing because it literally is just going down the project now, 1 entire side, feeding that needle through all of the beads that lay on the side. Every so often with this size 10 needle, I'll bring the needle out, pull the thread, and then continue down. So I'm not going to worry about doing it with both the right and the left needle. I'm just going to take one of my needles, in this case the right, and bring it down the whole side and then bring it up the other side. If you want to, and you do still have the equal amounts of thread, you can come down the one side with one thread and down the other side with the other thread. What we'll do then is get ready to finish off by knotting the two thread ends together once the sides are reinforced. So I was going to take that one needle up and back, but I forgot that we want to take this other needle in case you do go up and back, depending on which side you knot off your thread. You do want to make sure that you reinforce this loop that we've made by taking the other thread and going back through all of those seed beads as well. That's going to reinforce and make more than one strand, because you never want just one strand or thread of towards the clasp, because that's going to be where it has the most tension. So then with this one here, if I was coming up and back with the thread going up and then coming back, I would tie off right here about next to this aqua transparent luster, because you're not going to be able to see that green thread that I used. If you want to take it down the whole side then and have it be reinforced on there, you can knot right behind the button and you won't see it anywhere. So go ahead and reinforce the thread, and then you're finished with that wrap bracelet. The cool thing is, once you're done reinforcing, like I said, it's a multi-use that you can wear it as a 2-strand wrap and have that buttoned kind of be to the focus. Most of the time that I'm wearing 2-strand wraps, I actually like the button to kind of be to the side or to the front to be able to show the look of those 2 strands. So go ahead and reinforce, get that last thread kind of through there, and enjoy making this star wrap bracelet. Again, any bead will do when you're working and doing something like this, taking the thread down 2 and bringing back down 2 when working with 2 needles. So simple, endless amounts of bead options. Also, if you have a bunch of orphan beads, a bunch of multi-hole beads that don't necessarily, you have enough for one project, but they match with each other, try to do those in this style too, because it looks so fun to change up and use different sized beads. Thanks so much for watching that star wrap bracelet. Remember, if you can, comment below, let me know exactly what materials you're going to be using. That way you help out everybody in the community and give them ideas to make their own wrap bracelet. Again, if you need any materials, they're listed back in the beginning of the video with quantities to help and aid you in the design. As always, you can shop with us at PotomacBeads.com, which we have links below the video in the description, so that way you can order the exact products used. Also, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel as well as give a little like if these are the videos that you like to see. Keep in mind when making the fun wrap bracelet that there are tons and tons of different options of materials. So don't limit yourself and enjoy making the star wrap bracelet.